You've probably heard someone tell you to shake a leg when they want you to hurry up. Maybe it's your boss, your friend, or even your mum when you're taking too long to get out the door. It sounds like a fun and quirky way to say, "Get moving!" And let's be honest, it probably doesn't cross your mind much beyond that. But have you ever wondered where that phrase actually comes from? I mean, it sounds a bit strange, right? Shake a leg? How exactly do you do that? Well, here's the thing. This phrase has a surprising history, and it didn't start as just a silly saying you hear when you're running late. In fact, it's rooted deep in the maritime traditions of the Royal Navy, back when sailors literally had to shake a leg to prove they were awake and ready to face the day. It's a quirky little detail that's survived centuries, and now it's just a part of everyday language. But trust me, the story behind it is way more fascinating and funny than you might think. So let's take a journey back in time, all the way to the days of sailing ships, and see how shake a leg went from a wake-up call on the high seas to something we casually say when we're trying to hurry someone along today. Ready to set sail on this historical adventure? Let's dive in. All right, picture this. You're a sailor aboard a Royal Navy ship in the 18th or 19th century. The ship is rocking gently in the water, and the sounds of waves and creaking wood lull you into a deep, much-needed sleep. You've had a long, exhausting night shift, and it feels like you've only just closed your eyes when suddenly the peace is shattered. Boots clomp above you, and a loud voice echoes through the below-deck quarters. Shake a leg, this isn't some casual phrase. No, this is your wake-up call, a call to get up and get moving. The Royal Navy, with all its demands and dangers, didn't have time for slow mornings or snoozing sailors. There was always work to be done, whether it was adjusting the sails, prepping for battle, or handling an emergency. Time was precious, and the crew had to be alert and ready at a moment's notice. But here's the twist. How did they know you were actually awake? Simple. You had to prove it. Sailors were required to physically shake a leg out of their hammock. It wasn't enough to roll over and pretend to sleep. You had to show you were up by moving your leg. If you didn't shake a leg, the bosun's mate would know you were still in your hammock avoiding duty. Imagine the rush of those mornings when you didn't want to be caught sleeping on the job. Shaking a leg was your way of saying, "I'm ready for the day ahead." So every time someone tells you to hurry up, now you know that you're basically getting a Royal Navy wake-up call, one that's been passed down through the ages. Okay, here's where the story gets even more interesting, and a little bit cheeky. There's another version of the shake a leg story that adds a whole new layer to this already colourful phrase. You see, the Royal Navy wasn't just a place for sailors doing their jobs. Occasionally there were women aboard the ships during shore leave. And when these women stayed overnight, the officers had to make sure there were no unwanted guests in the sailors' hammocks when morning came. Here's where it gets funny. In some versions of the tale, officers would conduct a quick inspection in the morning. The rule was clear. If you were a sailor, you were expected to stick a leg out of your hammock to show you were awake and ready for the day. But here's the catch. If the leg was smooth instead of hairy, the officer would know someone who shouldn't have been there was hiding in the hammock. Whether or not this version is entirely true, it's a fun and memorable twist to the story. And honestly, when you consider the unpredictable nature of naval life, it doesn't seem too far-fetched. The Navy was often full of surprises, especially when it came to shore leave, where things could get a little chaotic. So, while this version might be more legend than fact, it certainly adds an amusing layer to the origin of the phrase. So, let's bring this story into the present. Today, shake a leg is just a fun, casual way to tell someone to hurry up. It's the kind of phrase you'd hear when someone's running late for an appointment, trying to get the kids out the door, or asking you to move faster when you're taking too long to get ready. It's universally understood, and it's used in all kinds of casual situations. But here's the cool part. While it's become so common that most people don't think twice about it, the phrase still carries a slice of history with it. The next time you hear shake a leg, you'll know you're actually being asked to get moving, just like a sailor would have when they heard those same words shouted across the decks of a Royal Navy ship. Imagine every time someone says shake a leg, they're unknowingly channeling that old naval wake-up call with all the urgency and action that came with it. It's a small but fascinating link to the past, one that's been passed down through generations and one that still rings true today. Whether you're rushing to get to work, finish a task, or just get out of bed, shake a leg is a reminder that life often calls for quick action and readiness. And hey, next time you're told to hurry, why not give a little nod to history and actually stick a leg out of bed or your seat? You'll not only be moving faster, but you'll also be giving a nod to centuries of sailors who had to wake up and hustle in a way that we can only imagine. Plus, it'll probably get a good laugh from anyone around you. Now that you know the surprising origins of Shake a Leg, I bet you're curious about more sailor sayings that might have equally wild backstories. What other nautical phrases or traditions would you like to uncover? Drop your ideas in the comments below and let's dig deeper into the fascinating world of maritime history together. And if you're someone who loves stories from the high seas, whether they're full of adventure, mystery, or just plain fun, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of history lovers. Trust me, you don't want to miss what we have in store next. Set sail with us for more incredible, seaworthy tales you won't find anywhere else. Until the next time, happy sailing.